everyone, and welcome back to Kleiner's Kravenarium. I am Raz, and we are joined by almost the entire team except for Queen Bee. Yesenia, Betty will not be able to join us this evening. She has Yule things that she has to take care of. Some Yule observances and some festivities that she's going to. So
frivolity, if you will.
A frivolity. Jocular frivolities, yes.
Jocularities.
I love a good frivol.
Wow. There's another.
They can all go wrong. Trust
me.
me.
They can all go wrong.
Stop.
So anyway, I just wanted to apologize first. Yeah, first I wanted to say hello to everyone. Hi, team. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Good. And I also wanted to stand corrected, actually sit, because to stand I would knock over my green screen and stuff. I found out from one of our other people in the group who is a GM as well, Chris, thank you very much, that there is a reroll mechanic. There is a push mechanic in Vaesen. So that's shame on me. And if a listener, you know that to be true and you thought to yourself, Raz, what the hell? It's not that I was being punitive. I just forgot. So in the future, we will be able to... What's that?
Bad keeper, filthy keeper.
Bad keeper, filthy keeper. So, bad keeper, filthy keeper.
To the penalty box.
Okay, I guess. I mean, if that's what you want to do.
We're taking over now. All right.
There you go.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
You can remove 5 minutes in the box.
Well, that's okay. Another joke. We are in foul moods tonight, folks. Not foul as in bad. Foul as in filthy. And we have to keep this PG light. So we're just gonna roll forward. So welcome to Chapter 2. You made it through Chapter 1. Most of the team made it through Chapter 1, and they actually increased their size by adding Adelaide. But we are, it's been about 3 weeks. We are at the end of May in 1865, and everyone is heading to Glasgow. The circus, Max has been pulling the circus along at his breakneck pace of several miles a day. Just because they can only go as quick as your slowest member, and Max is probably the slowest one. But he gets the job done. So yes, he has been making his way through Scotland, and on this morning, this really rainy, crappy, cold. It's May, so it shouldn't be this cold, but for some reason, it's unseasonably cool. It's like low 50s. You've arrived in Glasgow, on the outskirts of Glasgow, and Max has not stopped at any fields. He continues to plod with his heavy iron shod feet across and along the cobbles, which is giving a hell of a bounce to the performers. It was decided that Cyrus Boone, and this was a GM decision, but I'm not sure the players have a big issue with it. Cyrus Boone is going to take over in the role of sort of ringleader or ringmaster of the circus because he's such a hell of a great barker, as we've seen with his bullwhip over people's heads. Buy tickets, you punters, and he just starts whipping. So with all of his great social gifts and graces, we've decided that Cyrus should be the man in charge of the circus.
Woo!
Yeah, that's good stuff. So if you, if as a listener or viewer, if you agree that Cyrus would make a great ringleader, please post that in the comments when the show goes live in a couple weeks. Because yes. And if you don't like it, he'll just come to your house and beat the shit out of you. So that's good too. That's the Cyrus Boone way.
Wow.
Yes. So Yesenia has she came up with this idea, and she approached Cyrus and the rest of the team and said she'd like to do something a little bit different arriving into Glasgow. She decided that she was going to take a rest, and she asked Robin to sit on the top of the cart as a marionette and just wave. Now everyone's be like, how's the marionette waving? Like, that's really odd. Like, there's a wooden structure and it's just kind of, so is it a turnkey, a clockwork toy? Is it something that but Robin is sitting there, and every once in a while he'll just go, hello, and he'll wave to the people that are watching the circus parade by. Okay. Cool. This was her idea to help raise some interest in the circus. Plus, it's a great way for Betty to go and have her party, and we can just say she's not here. There you go.
And abuse her puppets, sure.
She's right, the puppet, because she has to be out, right? Most of the time, unless that thing with Black Shuck happened, she has to be out for that to happen. So the rest of the team is riding along. When you do hit the first levels of streets, now Glasgow is kind of built rising up into this. The city kind of rises up. One of the earlier structures that was built that's still standing is the Glasgow the cathedral. It has been expanded over the years, but it sits up on a hill, and it's definitely something you can see from many different quarters of the city. As you make your way into the city proper, Max and several of the carts with some of the signage keep rolling, but the rest of the work crew, the strongmen, the cooks, everything else, they start piling off outside the city. They are not erecting anything yet because you don't have permission to be in. They don't know what fields to arise in, and you have to make arrangements for that. So, Cyrus, this is going to be one of the new jobs that you're going to have to handle is making contact with locals. In towns, it's not too bad. You walk up, you pay a farmer a couple quid, he lets you set up, right? But in a big city, if you want to draw and put up posters and things, this is part of management of the circus. So we'll have to go into some of that with the mayor. Okay. However, Max goes right past City Hall and continues to climb and arc his way through the city very slowly. And people are, some people stop, they stare. They do that thing. This is a thing we found in Portugal. They stop and stare. Like Lauren can attest to this. It's
Great.
It's not a traditional just give you a quick look and move on. It's a and keep staring all the way until you literally careen their neck left or fall the way to the right. Looks like it's going to come off, and then they reset and continue walking. Which, nothing against the Portuguese people, that's fine. It's just we did notice that happened with certain.
It's odd. Normally, like two people approach each other, both will like, oh, sorry, ooh, my bad, and then they'll just keep walking. No,
dead stop.
Dead stop.
Did you stand out though? Were you
and I'm from
very different from them?
No, it's just two normal people just walking in a mall or something. And I'm from Jersey, so I'm perpetually ready to like, you want to fight? So somebody stopping and staring at me, just ooh.
Right.
Let's go.
So that's it. And since the Scots are such warm and lovely people to outsiders, you're probably getting a lot of that. And again, anyone from Scotland, that's sort of a joke. It's built into your chemistry. We understand that. I've been to Scotland, beautiful place. But you get that feeling of like people are kind of eyeing up the whole idea of what's going on here. Mercy, you yourself can only remember one time that the Kleiner's Kravenarium came this far north. Just because it's a big distance to travel, where you're hitting little places along the way, but you got to cross a lot of locks and great expanses of land just to get to a big metropolitan area. So not, once you get northern England type things get a little more spaced out.
What brought us here before? Was it just, we've never been here, or was it like a Vaesen related thing?
No. It wasn't Vaesen related at all. It was Kleiner decided to test the waters and see how well the circus did.
Okay.
Yeah. But this feels different, right? This feels like Max has a purpose. Max is on his way somewhere.
Max is not stopping. Max intentionally moving on.
Yes, and like I said, several of the carts that you all pack your stuff in, that's following Max along. Okay, so this continues until Max gets about 75 feet to 100 feet coming around the corner. You see it. You see the Glasgow Cathedral and the necropolis that was originally known as Fir Park. So this is Fir Park Cemetery. Now, this picture is from the later 1800s. It's about 25 years ahead of you. It's one of the earlier ones I could find that was actually in good shape. The necropolis won't be quite so big yet. This would be a slight, much scaled down. But it is literally known today as the Glasgow necropolis. In today's terms, there's over like 54,000 people buried up on these hills around the cathedral. So Fir Park was established earlier than that, but how early you don't know. But anyway, he is making his way up towards the cathedral, and sure enough, you discover that there is something going on at the cathedral, and there is, you can already start to hear the sound of the pipe organ. You can see basically horse-drawn hearses, very much similar to the one that Kleiner is all bunched up and nailed to the top of. That's your centerpiece of the show. It looks like you're pulling up with another hearse, but there is a hearse out front. There are very ornate Victoriana carriages for a funerary procession. lined up outside. And if it's a cathedral burial, your assumption, I would think, would be it's somebody of semi-importance to get a burial in a cathedral or to be honored or laid out in a cathedral. When you get close, like now you can start to see there, people milling about. I mean, the ceremony seems whatever's going on is still going on, but Max gets in line outside the cathedral, not directly behind the first hearse. He gets in line all the way at the back behind several of the, probably for immediate family or close relatives and friends. And that's where he parks himself. And no matter what you do, he don't want to move.
He only runs, he does the very first one when we'll run the Kleiner on it, correct?
What's that?
He runs the first wagon, the one with Kleiner
Yes.
on it, right? But the rest of the other wagons are independent, correct?
Yeah, none of them I mean, they follow them like bomb-proof horses, Joel. They tend to just see him as the, horses will get into that thing where they just follow the ass in front of them, and they're used to seeing Max's ass. So they do tend to stay with him, but you could easily pull the rest of the circus, the rest of the 5 or 6 carriages that are here. And again, Mercy's carriage has Miss Mercy Clark, the smartest girl in the world, on the side of it. And Adelaide, whatever artwork we're building up for her, will have, I don't want to say the girl who could swallow anything. That's really not making
Catwoman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The Catwoman.
Yeah.
The Catwoman. And she's like, all freaked out. But we have everybody's banner on the side of their wagon. Those could be moved.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it might be a little less insane if it was just the one wagon at the end. I mean, bad enough that he's nailed to the seat.
Right.
Is there any way, did we have any of our circus hands still remaining with us? I know you said many of them waited on the outskirts of town, but did any of them continue on with us? Right? Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, most of them would have stayed back, not knowing how far or where he was going.
Right.
Plus the sonic imagery, the sonic command from Kleiner or Max or whoever is doing it would have been for them they would have felt like this is a good place to stop until we know where we're supposed to set up. They're kind of workers. So most of them stayed behind. But your wagons yourselves, each one of you either has a driver, or Steinar, you may do your own. But like the women have somebody who drives the horses for them.
Sure.
Like Miss Mercy's blind. She's not going to lead a horse, right? Because hers is a camel anyway. Nobody.
We all head north. She goes west.
Right. No, down Fleet Street.
Why is my carriage pulled by a camel?
Oh, because they that's just a funny joke among the troop.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, I just thought it would be,
It's adorable. It's great.
making fun of the blind. It's always good. Good stuff.
So I'm thinking that perhaps it might behoove us for the group, Sans, Max, and Kleiner, to wait outside the city limits.
Well, then you want to take the carriages back out.
Yeah.
Yes, and just leave the one carriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whoever wants to stay with the carriage. I think maybe one person stays with the carriage, figure out what's going on.
I think there's an element of security here, especially for Max. Obviously, Kleiner's dead, so that really doesn't matter. Right.
We could all get in the back.
Yeah, why don't we? We can just send the carriages back out, back out to the city limits, and just wait and see what happens here.
Yes, that would be amenable as well. And I hopped down from my wagon, and they moved to the other inside Kleiner's wagon, and then I motioned for the others to go back and meet up with the workers, the roustabouts outside of town.
Yep. And they do so. So your wagons are pulled away. So you did that fairly quickly, right? Like you came up, and when you saw Max Park, like you said, probably not a good idea. You dispatched the wagons pretty quickly. So none of the ceremony that is disrupted. Like you didn't draw any bad blood or press from anyone or see anything going on. However, I mean, you still have a desiccating human body nailed to a hearse with Kleiner's Kravenarium written on the side. That you can't move. But for the I mean, that's still probably a little showmanship. How dare you, sir? That kind of thing. But at least you got rid of the other ones, which is it's better taste. You hear the bells start to go off, and you hear singing, and it's all that. What's that?
I was gonna say the end of the service kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's coming to a rapid end. And right now it's close to noon. The rain is coming down. It's not that slow rain. It's a good rain. I'm not saying it's sideways, but it's definitely it's letting you know it's there. The precipitation is real, and the water is running. It's gathering in pools along the old cobblestones, and it's draining through the drainage pipes and everything. And the gargoyles are throwing water. So I mean, you're getting. It's not a deluge by any means, but it's definitely raining. So just keep that in mind, that moody, crappy, overcast, rainy day of Scotland. In a few moments though, but another 5-10 minutes, you start to see people coming out. Everyone, men are in morning suits, women are in black. The hearses kind of gave it away, but you are definitely here for a funeral. A funeral is taking place. And you do see some well-to-do, well-dressed men and women, walking sticks, proper hats, patent leather shoes. You do not see a working class. You do not see anyone here that doesn't come from money. There is money here to be definitely with these people. And they're coming out. And right now, I'm going to say within about 10 minutes, the bells are still ringing. You must have 150, 200 people already outside milling about, waiting for the body to be brought to the hearse. So it's a big group of people, a big group of mourners here paying their respects.
Can we tug on Max's reins? I know they're purely for show at the moment, but can we try to just get him out of here? I'm starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. Is he going to move for me?
Yeah, he's not going. He kind of gives you the look like, you kind of need, you need to see this.
Right.
I'll walk up to Max.
But it's like, Max, do you need to see it? Because we now know where to be. Do you need to see it? Because you're a fucking horse. Oh, Jesus, you're a damn horse. I can't.
I'll walk up to him and pat his neck and then say like quietly into his ear, "Is it here, boy? Do you see what you'll need to see here? Is this where we need to be? Do you need to be here with us?"
I mean, he can't shrug. He's
Is
a horse.
is that one stomp for yes and 2 stomps for no? How does
We're gonna do the Addams Family. Okay, it's 3 stomps for yes, 5 stomps for no, unless if Fester walks
All right.
in the room.
So then I'll say, "Will you let us handle this?" And you go back down to the bottom of the city and wait with the others, and we shall come back and we can meet up then.
He nods his head a little bit.
Okay. I go back
And
to
he
the others
stays there.
and he stays there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Max.
This is in bad taste.
right?
Mm-mm.
So I guess is everybody still in the wagon, or they've gotten out of the
You
wagon?
tell me, you guys let me know. I mean, you got a lot of people
Obviously,
coming
I
out.
got out.
Yeah, you got out.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit there for a minute. I'm gonna stay with the wagon. I am gonna try to like brush myself off. Obviously, we're road weary, so I don't. We can't look. We're not
So-
funeral ready. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
No, you're not funeral ready.
I am.
You
Funeral-
think you are? You're
That's
absolutely
as fun as a wedding. To Mercy Clark. If so, inside the wagon, inside the hearse itself, are some curtains that are also that can be drawn or left. You could take a couple off the poles. The poles can come on. They're just like curtain rods, right? You could take some of those down. You could try to cover the Kleiner Stein on the outside. You could kind of drape them over so at least it covers most of it. You could probably do that. That would be okay. Like if you're really trying, but again, it's
Yeah, you know what? I'll do that, and
Okay.
see if Cyrus can't help me out here. So just to show some decorum.
all right. Adelaide, what are you doing?
She is in. Well, I think she's leading out of the wagon. She's watching Cyrus talk to Max. Because I think this is the first time she's witnessing Max do his thing. And so I think over the course of these 3 weeks that have passed, she's learned that they do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's very, very curious because she's mentioned something happened to her that she thinks may be related.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just watching. She's really curious about what's going to unfold because she's like kind of really nervous. She's looking at all the people, very well-to-do people. And she really wants to ask somebody what this is for, but she isn't sure how to go about and do that.
Okay.
Just to
Yeah.
jump out and ask somebody.
Well, that's sort of how it's done. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. If maybe right now she's just reluctant, right?
Yeah.
Mercy, what are you up to?
As everybody is kind of distracted,
Mm-hmm.
I hop out
Sure.
and I wander toward the mourners.
Very well.
I've got my stick
Say,
And-
in what direction do you wander?
toward the mourners
Yeah.
coming out of the thing.
Towards the noise of the mourners?
Yeah.
Well, she can-
Adelaide can tell you what's happening.
Yeah. Remember, Mercy can see them as shadows. She just,
Yeah.
Or that too.
yeah, she can see
Um,
shadows of them. You're Vason and you are real because you're Vason
Yes.
touch, but everything else looks like a weird shadow to her. But she knows the general area of where they
Yeah.
are.
Okay, so not
And
completely
I'm-
blind.
I'm looking for anything that looks more visible to me. I'm trying to hear,
Yeah.
like, I'm doing my thing. I'm being a, inconspicuous, child that everybody's going to ignore in a crowd. Don't mind me.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you hear, poor Andrew. She was so young. Well, obviously the girl was troubled. Be quiet now, Melody. There's nothing to discuss there like that. A lot of English accents in the crowd. You hear Scottish. You do hear that. They're definitely not real heavy, like brogues, like heavy Scottish drawl. It sounds more like an educated, someone who went to university maybe in England or studied it abroad and then came back, but still has that Scottish sound to their voice. So more like you would get from a noble,
Right.
somebody like that who lives in Scotland, who has the accent but doesn't have the Kenny, that kind of thing. But so you're hearing different, but a lot of English, and they're talking about about Andrew and his loss and how he's just been, he's devastated by this.
Gotcha. Okay. As, people start to get into their hearses,
No one's leaving yet. About
oh.
220 people now.
okay, much larger than I thought. So
They're still spilling out.
Yeah.
they're still spilling. I'm gonna tuck myself like against the wall
Uh-huh.
because eventually the wagons are gonna move, and if Max is gonna do what I think he's gonna do, he's just gonna follow them, and I can then join up with people. But I'm gonna hang back and tuck myself safely against a wall
Okay. All right.
so I can still listen. And
Yep.
Yeah.
You also pick up the name Enid. Enid Coulter. So now it looks like you're getting to the actual mourners who are family.
Okay.
You're getting to a lot more tears. You're getting to like some of the servants and staff, like head of household, headmistress, nurse, or nanny. Those people also were able to attend. Lower staff of the house probably pay their respects at home. They're preparing for the funeral, for whatever, for people to callers to come afterwards and give their condolences privately. So they're still doing their thing, but high end staff is here.
Right.
And then you see what you believe to be Andrew Coulter. He's just coming out, probably in late 30s or if 40, barely just hitting 40.
Mhm.
Decent looking man, a little bit on the portly side, but comes out trying to be respectful, but trying to hold that stout, staunch British exterior. But you can see he's just very weepy. His eyes are all swollen. Anybody else who sees him, this is the father. And behind him comes the coffin being borne. It's obviously of someone who's younger, a woman. It's white. It's all gold filigree. It's over the top done. It's definitely of a younger person, right? Someone lost too young.
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus, what are you doing?
I think I'll mill about the horse, about Max, almost as if I am, basically responsible for Max, that sort of thing. Give me a chance to sort of listen in, but keep my distance.
Okay. All right. And Steinar, you're out and about now, or?
No, I'm going to stay I'm going to be immediately on the wagon. So,
Okay.
I'm out of my element here. So,
I've never attended a high-end funeral before in a goddamn in a cursed hearse.
take my hat off really quickly, like trying to fix my hair
in the rain. Just plopping. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Enid Coulter is brought down. Go ahead, and Adelaide, Cyrus, and Steiner, please make me checks under, I believe it's observation, right? Was in this game they call it. Let's see. Yes, observation and empathy.
I got 1 success.
Huzzah!
Hooray!
All right. The coffin lid is not glass, which tended to be very common, especially for the higher ups, the higher rich. They would normally lay a person out for several days. That had been done, so that wasn't done that way. It would normally have a glass lid, but nothing seems like this coffin is closed. It's definitely doesn't look like it's ever. Yeah, this is a standard or beautifully made box, but it's a box. Right, it's just an ornate box, and they bring her in and they slide her in. People are milling about, crying. The altar boys come out. A man comes out behind them, and you see what appears to be the archbishop of the cathedral talking to him. He's shaking his hand. So Andrew's down. Andrew Coulter is the man the father. He's down by the hearse. The family are gathering in the wagons, in the carriages behind. The archbishop is speaking to somebody, and the man turns and he says, "Friends, the Archbishop has allowed me to say a few words here today. Thank you all for coming. The Coulter family is obviously very bereft and just heartbroken at this tragedy. Please, if you have friends or members of the press, keep things simple. Tell them to give them their privacy for now. And it's a sad day here, but we will not be taking Miss Enid far. She is to be put to rest here at the Fur Park. So if you're willing to be a part of that and wish to follow the procession, you can make your way around with them, or you can go through the back, around the back of the church, out to the cemetery across the hill, and we will meet you there momentarily. Again, thank you all, and please be safe and hug those you love. You never know when. And you can see he's shaken. The crowd vibe is shaken. The crowd's vibe is definitely like there is a buzz. Something here is really put these people. Death was common in Victorian England. People die. People die today, right? It's tragic. But we're talking about a younger girl, and the crowd is literally electric. It's like it's crying, it's sad, but they're also like just something is off.
You said there were some servants milling about?
There are.
All right.
They're getting into carriages now. So any of the Coulter team, the Coulter family household would be, they're being prepared and brought into the carriages. You have some mourners, women under umbrellas, men standing there with their hats, the rain, probably with an umbrella as well. They're either going to follow around the road to go down, because you have to go down the road a little bit to find the side road to get into Fir Park, or you can go back behind the church. You can follow the footpath back to the church because it sits behind it. I'll show you again here. Yeah. Sure. See, that's it. So this is the cathedral sits here on the opposite, on the hill that overlooks it is Fir Park.
Yeah, I've been there. Who's the wagon immediately in front of us? Do we know? I mean, what do they look like?
Probably friends of the family, just like anything else, right? You have pecking order. It'd be the father, and he doesn't seem to have a wife. So just the father,
Mhm.
maybe other children. There are 2 other children that join him. Then you have household servants. Then you have friends and family that are very close, that came up in carriages. Then you have others who parked far away because they just know they're not part of the funeral procession. They're just here to, pay their respects.
Apparently we are now.
And you. And then there's you.
And then us.
The circus performers.
Yeah.
Yay.
No, I imagine it just looks creepy as all hell, right? Because it's a funeral hearse, isn't it?
Yours is as well. And he wears a long black shroud over him that looks like a plague horse.
So it's glass. It's either glass or it's open in the back with curtains. Is that the deal?
You have glass with curtains, right? But on the so that's the back and front. The sides have the big Kleiner sign.
Yeah. I'll climb. I will. If I can find a brush, I will start to brush off my suit.
Uh-huh.
And I will, in a very rare occasion, he will put out his cigar, and he will climb up on top to make it look as if someone is leading this carriage that is not the undead.
Right. That is not a half skeletal man with, all hunched over.
Right.
Good sense. It looks like a Peruvian mummy, right, with a top hat. I mean, that's what Kleiner is. He's dead. They nailed him there, which is nice. That was his last wishes. All right. So you're on the cart. Kleiner's Steinar is near it. Mercy's in the crowd. Mercy, you hear, I hear that he's going to rename the ship. Why would he do that? Because wouldn't you, after all that happened? It's bad luck to rename a ship. Bad luck indeed. The girl must have been mad, that's all. All right, so if nobody else is moving, everyone's trying to stay.
Sorry, I'm just taking notes.
I know, but we're live on camera.
I know.
So
I love the representation of mental health in the Victorian era and how women's problems. It's like, oh God, she was just crazy.
I didn't say that she was.
Well, maybe she was actually mad. I mean, there is that possibility, and it wasn't just.
I know.
I don't know. It sounds like it's not an open casket funeral. Something bad happened to this girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Damn hysteria.
Hysteria did this to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, something's up, and I can't wait to share what I have gleaned, but I have to wait for my ride to come pick me up.
So the horses and carts start moving, and everyone's like, and there's Cyrus, right? So Mercy, you make your way back because you start to see the progression session moving. All right. True to point. You they help you back in, and Max just starts walking and following them around. So he's going down. The difference is when you get down the hill to the side road that leads back into Fur Park, right? It goes up around the side of past the church grounds into the cemetery proper. Big ornate, iron grate, cemetery entrance with big gates, iron fencing all around it. Max doesn't enter the cemetery. He pulls off to the side. All the other carriages go. People following the carriages kind of look at Max, and now they're starting to be like, wait a minute, what's going? This stop. Why did they stop? And now they're kind of giving everyone the look. Like those who decided to follow along are kind of now realizing what the hell. But the family doesn't get any wiser because they're the first, right? They go in first.
Right, they're focused, right?
Right, they're focused. So they go all the way up the hill. So you do see people.
I will just take my top hat off in like a reverent thing and sort of nod, and keep my head nodded as they go by, as if, in a respectful sort of way. And I don't know what else the hell we can do.
Yeah, so go ahead and let's, you know what? I don't think we need to even roll for this. It's not hard to start picking up the general feelings of those passing by that, this is, you're odd. Who are you? What are you doing here? You've covered the best you can the sign. There's the radium down here. Maybe a K is visible over here, but you've covered as much as you can of it.
Right.
But the mourners are definitely picking up the vibe that, shame on you for being here. Who are you? That kind of thing is starting to come about.
Yeah.
They're not going to turn into a hostile mob. It's a funeral. We're not talking about a Donnybrook's going to happen, but you're getting looks, right? They go up the cemetery is smaller, so crown of the hill is still being used in some spots. So they have a beautiful place laid out for her. Do you dismount the cart and follow the mourners in?
we've now known Adelaide now for what, a few weeks?
3
right?
weeks.
3 weeks. So kind of, you described her, I believe, last time, kind of small,
Yeah.
little, hard to pay attention to is the way it is what I sort of took from it, right?
Yeah.
Sort of blend into the background, right? So maybe it's best that we keep our profile low and simply send Adelaide up there to
Okay.
watch discreetly behind a few things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She wants to go out there and see what's going on. I think she also generally wears black for her show,
Perfect.
Mhm.
so she at least blends in that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's zero chance of Cyrus blending in. He's like 6'4",
Yeah.
bone thin, with that giant forked beard in the top. I don't think there's any blending.
I'm
No.
dressed like a hunter. What am I going up there to hunt, right?
Yeah, Adelaide is very used to trying to not be seen
Perfect.
living on the streets, so she's
Alright.
good at getting around, especially these well-to-do people.
She's
Perhaps
a,
you
she's
could
a
take
Milford
Mercy
man.
with you.
Got it. All right.
What's
But
She's a
that?
Milford man. Arrested Development. Anyone?
Yep.
Can't not be seen.
And you said perhaps Mercy can go too, Joel?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
perhaps you could take Mercy with you. She's a very intelligent child with ears the size of a bat. She can hear everything.
They're
You will
not
be our
blind.
eyes. She will be our ears.
So the two ladies go up.
Mhm. Yeah.
So Steinar, there is a way as a hunter you could be there. I'm throwing this out as a character. Characters would know this.
Sure.
Players may not. There is an awful lot of grave robbing still going on in 1865. Now,
Okay.
it's broad daylight, but that
Sure.
doesn't mean that cemeteries don't hire, especially well-to-do cemeteries,
Oh,
men to
like
wander.
watchmen. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
To watch the area. So it's not that I'm saying you need to go. I'm just telling you in your head, you might be like, I could probably pass off as one of the watchmen, the guards, because this cemetery looks like it's pretty. These people are being buried with gold. Like there's
Yeah.
going to be pocket watches and things. If the
Yeah.
resurrectionists are coming, they're coming here. Like this is
Yeah.
one of the.
I wouldn't have thought that. Yep. You know what? I will take that, and I'll grab Cyrus and be like, "Come on, we're on watch duty. We'll walk opposite. We'll just let the ladies go one way. We'll go the other, and we'll
Yep.
just sort of be on either side.
Yeah, security, especially for the fresh graves, because
Mhm.
quicker to dig up.
Sure.
Right, takes a lot. I mean, it takes minutes to shift fresh earth than packed.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if anybody's going to hit that grave, it's going to be in the next week. Like before. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure I have my rifle on my side too. That'll
Okay.
help with
Yeah.
cover.
Nobody blinks an eye at that.
Yeah.
The two men start circling. The women head up. They're listening. The ceremony is exactly what you would expect of a Victorian 1865 funeral. The exception is that they kind of keep things. The prayers are a little bit different, Mercy, than you would have imagined. They're using slightly different homilies.
Okay.
They're using different. They always go to ashes, dust to dust, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they tend to do a lot of things with a nautical bend. Passages from the Bible
Okay.
that have a nautical feel. You already heard that they may change the name of the ship. So you and Adelaide are putting together the fact that Andrew Coulter is probably owns shipping or is a shipping magnate or has something to do with the sea.
Gotcha.
All right. You also hear people talk about other people in the crowd. So now you're hearing like, oh, over there's Ginny Wainwright. Ginny Wainwright. That tart. What are you talking about? She's the best opera singer in all of Glasgow. She's beautiful. Rupert Cox. You hear that name. He's 51. He's an older gentleman. He's a sculptor. Very kind of probably the worst dressed person here, but has a lot of people milling about him. Even during what the Archbishop is doing, they're lowering the box. There's still people like all kind of trying to get close to Rupert Cox. You also hear a couple other names. Millicent Shaw, Blake Reed, a member of Parliament, is here. So you're picking up like there is a vibe of some really heavy hitters in this audience, from the arts all the way to politics. A police commissioner. This crowd is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is the place to be.
Right. And then you and Adelaide overhear exactly what happened to Enid. Enid Coulter, a few days ago, walked onto her father's ship, the HMS Prospero, locked herself in the boiler room, and battered on a steam pipe until it burst and bathed her in steam.
Oh my God, poor thing.
She took a wrench and battered the pipe until it exploded in her face and killed herself. That's what the crowd is saying. The newspapers are saying she was on the ship for undisclosed reasons, and there was a tragic accident. But people are like, no. You've stayed long enough. The team has stayed long enough to pick this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
She was bathed in steam.
What was the name of the ship again?
The Prospero.
Okay.
Do we know how old
Okay.
she was?
17.
17? Okay.
17. Wow. So young.
Yeah.
She could have had,
Steam, huh?
like, 4 kids by then in that time.
Ouch.
Oh, for the love of God.
No,
There's
it's not a joke. It's true.
Yeah. There's 100,000 easier ways to kill yourself than steam.
Right.
Banging on a pipe as a
Yeah.
as a slight 17-year-old. Like a skinny
you know-
mini slinging a,
A
I don't
wrench.
buy it. I don't buy it for a minute.
No, it's a strange conclusion to come to if you're trying to end your own life.
Yeah.
The funeral goes on without a hitch. Family just has nothing to say. The man who spoke earlier at the church as everyone was exiting, and
Who's he?
That is the mayor of Glasgow, Justin McCleats. Justin McCleats is the mayor of Glasgow, or Lord Mayor, I believe they still called him in 1865. He, again, friend of the family. The Coulters are nouveau riche, but keyword riche. Very well off.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very well off. So everyone starts to disperse. The Archbishop is still here. He's shaking a lot of hands. Several of the altar boys are still here holding the cross and whatever other accoutrement he needed. But you're sensing that things are going, people are getting back in. Other carriages that were parked far much further down the street are now pulling up for the attendees so that they can get in out of the rain. So the wealthy are dispersing. The people are going back to their homes.
Okay. With the flow of traffic, once poor Enid is lowered into the ground, and as the crowd starts to disperse flow of traffic, in order to remain as inconspicuous as possible, we'll just flow with them.
Mhm.
All right.
Unless, Adelaide, if you want to do something, if there's something else that you wanted to do.
No, it's nothing she can really do. So I think we'll just start disappearing with the crowd.
Okay. Staying low.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean into Cyrus. Let's wait until the end. The ladies can wait in the cart.
Yes, I'm in agreement. We shall carry up to Rio.
Sure enough. So everyone goes. Archbishop is one of the last people to leave. He waits for the funeral. Again, to keep an archbishop this long in the rain, like there was obviously a very big gratuity, or donation to the church. He waits for the ground to come in, for the grave diggers to actually fill everything in. He oversees it. He makes sure they're paid for the family. This is absolutely like, wow, kind of like you've been to funerals in your lives, but this is a level of class and status that you're, right underneath, like, the Wellingtons and the other, great houses and names. It's just below that, but he's being very gentle. He's not trying to rush the ceremony. Everything went, like I said, and it had a slightly different feel, but it had its dark moments, right? Like we all die. This is what happens, but kept it about the sea and about the ocean and the things that the family were tied to.
I want to see if, as they're burying her and covering her up, if they do anything out of the normal.
Okay.
Either weird gestures, they maybe throw something onto the coffin that is not normal, something like that, something that would maybe alert us to something, what is not right.
Sure. Go ahead and make that observation and empathy roll.
Sure. 2 successes.
Ooh.
Okay, nothing that the grave diggers or the Archbishop John Gray does gives you the indication that it sounds more like these were the passages that were chosen. Like to you, you get the feeling that they were chosen because of the family's connection. It was thoughtful, but it wasn't there's no dark intention to it. There's no change of it to be circumspect or to evoke a different part of a ritual.
Weird wording of anything.
Nope. Not in that part of it. No, not at all.
Okay.
The altar boys start carrying everything back towards the church. The archbishop is moving towards the church. He sees you off in the distance, thinks nothing of it because Fir Park Cemetery, while the church buries here, isn't under the control of the church specifically. It has its own, master of the grounds who may have hired freelance guys just to keep watch. So he doesn't even take 2 notices of you. He just starts walking down the road.
And that pretty much wraps it up.
That would wrap that up, yeah. Unless you want to try to speak to somebody or the altar boys but they're not far from him. You could probably wait till they're done with they get their vestments off and they get paid and then they go home or they.
Yeah. I'll leave that to Cyrus. He's the one that's a talker. I am not a talker.
Okay.
I don't know that I would say anything because if I'm looking for it, nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Sure.
Then I wouldn't see the point of invading. I mean, he's already not sure that she's dead because he has that problem with the dead. So he's already not terribly comfortable.
Right.
But I think he would be, especially being a Southern gentleman, I think he'd be very respectful of these type of events. Unless he saw something that really stood out to him, then he probably would not do anything that he would deem inappropriate socially.
Okay. The 2 of you are still there. You're the last ones to leave. The crowd is milled out. Go ahead and make me one more observation roll. You do need 2 successes on this. The two gentlemen. Ladies, you are already in the cart waiting. Because you milled with the crowd, so you never saw those 250, 300 people disperse. So if one
success.
You want to push it?
I push it and I fail. He slides into the grave hole.
Well, not that, but somebody might notice you and say, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, sure, I'll push it.
All
right. Living dangerous.
Nope. That's 0 successes.
No.
All right.
I feel like I've done myself an injury.
I think I have the gun discharged in my hand, and so
my saber is in my thigh.
We'll hold the complication for a few minutes. We'll get there. But yes, you nothing happens. You see nothing out of the ordinary beyond what I've already described to you. You kind of don't get that last little thing, but as you make your way towards Max, and it's now probably 12:30 because the funerals big deals. They you go up to him like, okay, Max. Max doesn't want to leave.
Okay, then I will feign, just sort of grooming him, calming him down, as if, when you've used a horse, you would need to basically wipe them down. That sort of, I'll do that to sort of wait through the people leaving.
Oh no, they're gone.
We're totally alone.
Well, you're in a cemetery with some other mourners from other, like people that are visiting graves. You have the groundskeeper and the grave diggers.
Pickles.
You have the regular daily arrivals,
right,
and people that would be milling about. What you don't have is any more mourners, and what you are getting now is looks from the grave diggers who are kind of like, what are they doing here? And then, they would know maybe who security was. Right now, they may be looking at you going,
right.
But Max doesn't seem interested in moving.
Great.
Yeah.
We liked this horse in the first chapter. Son of a...
Did.
I mean, Adelaide will, if they really want to leave and she gets the feeling they're getting watched, she'll go up to Max and try to sweet talk him into it. She, because as far as she knows, he's just a nice little horse. and maybe he's stubborn.
Is Oscar with you?
Yes.
Oscar now is so Oscar's with you?
Yes.
And where is Oscar?
Oscar is in my pocket.
Okay.
My skirt pocket.
So you're speaking to Max in soft, hushed tones,
Yes.
and as you look down at Oscar, he looks up at you and goes, like,
Oh, Oscar, but we really need to be moving. They're starting to watch us.
and he like and points to the grave.
Oh, I
Are we
think he
meant to-
wants to go to the grave.
Well, Max could walk up there, but I think he's trying to say Max is trying to get.
Yeah. I mean,
Do I see this?
Again,
you
can
probably see
Adelaide-
Adelaide turn around
Here,
towards the
here.
grave. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mercy removes one of her gloves and puts it like in the carriage. Adelaide, I seem to have dropped my glove.
Oh,
Perhaps we should look for it.
I suppose we shall.
So we can meander. We were near the grave.
Absolutely.
We were.
Would you tuck it in? Women have so many bustles and things. Would you take it with you so you can eventually drop it to find it, or would
That
you
makes
leave
more
it?
sense.
Okay.
Boom.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. You're a circus performer. You know how to do sleight of hands and stuff, right? So that would make sense.
Yeah.
To you. You put it in a bustle. You start. The two of you head up. Gentlemen, are you going with them, or you're staying back with the cart?
Yeah. I'll stay back with the
Yeah.
cart. Cyrus, if you'd like to go, I can protect at least our assets on our way out of here.
Okay.
So.
Yes, I would go along with the two women to make sure that they are accompanied. It would be unseemly otherwise.
Okay. You get up there, Mercy, and one of the gravediggers comes by and says, "What are you doing back here?"
I apologize, sir. I
Service
seem,
is over. It's time for you to go.
I understand. I've dropped something of mine, and my friend is helping me look for it. As you can see, I can't see it. I'm just trying to find what what was lost. I'm so sorry.
Can I help you then, child? What is it that you dropped?
It's a black glove. It's my mother monogrammed it for me before she passed on, and I always like to wear one. I'm just very distraught that I've dropped it.
Oh no,
It's-
these things happen. Women can be so ficked in the mind sometimes about things. Let's stop. It's 1865.
I got it.
He
No.
says, "Let me
Yes.
give a look. Let me have a look about. Try not to.
So feeble.
You're a blind girl.
I'm
You're
agreeing.
not a strong man.
I'm agreeing with him.
You are feeble and weak. You're a wee thing. You're a spit of a girl with no eyes. For the fuck's sake."
I believe you made your point, sir.
He's mumbling as he
Help
walks.
find the glove, perhaps less insulting of the small
I'm
child.
trying to be insulting, but the
I sniffle like.
It is all right,
Yeah.
my dear child. He did not mean to be cruel. It is just his station in life.
All I wanted was the glove mother made for me.
We should
Right,
find
and
it. We should find it.
So he walks around. He says, "Well, watch your wee feet in the mud and the muck. We don't want to have your shoes get all dirtied up." He goes about, and that's when the three of you click in what. So the role that Cyrus didn't make before, you now see. There are two other graves that are here that are fairly new, all probably within the last 2 to 3 weeks. Paul Winters and Denise Galt. And they have similar stones. The font is very similar. So you're kind of like, people die all the time, but you're noticing that one, she was in her early 40s, and the other person was only 22, and that was Paul Winters.
Okay.
So Mercy finally drops her glove, and and what happens is Steiner kind of gives you the signal from the thing that Max is turning around. Like, you see those three graves, the three of you see the other two graves, and all of a sudden Steiner is sitting there, and Max goes and starts to try to turn,
Mm-hmm.
and Steiner's like, woohoo, you know, like
Yeah, I'll give a whistle, right?
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
It's like a car with shoddy brakes.
right. And then Mercy, you drop the glove carefully, and you're able to.
Yeah.
Adelaide finds it, and over here, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you found it. Now you can make your way. No tip then for me for all my hard work. I can see. All right. Well, you have a good day to you. Thank you very much. Sorry for the, sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir. God bless. I appreciate you assisting us.
Yes. God bless
Cyrus
you.
chips him a few p.
Right. Thank you. Very kind. And that's where we'll close it for tonight. All right, so chapter 1 of A Box of Dreams is done, but we are going to be back next week with chapter 2. There is a lot to find out. We have 3 fresh graves. Now Max, the team has seen them, is all ready to move. He's okay. He wants to get going. Because Max is impatient, is like, God, that took forever. Jeez. But yes, we'll find out more from all of us here next time. But from the team, I want to say thanks to everybody. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, smash the button, do all that stuff. This is our updated cast list. You can always leave comments for them on how they're doing. I think they're doing an amazing job. I hope you do too. Don't forget our Patreon, all kinds of exclusive stuff, including some solo shows and background stuff for the characters that are going to be coming up. We're going to be recording them. And from all of us here at the Bardic College, I just want to say thank you. And of course, we are also adding to our thing. We're the Bardic College, but we're also a Sleeping Buddy production. And I just want to say good night, everyone.
Oh, Gomez.
Like, share,
night,
and
everybody.
subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe,
Good night,
smash the
everybody.
buttons,
Hit
hit
the
the
bell.
bell.
Buttons.
Thanks.
Buttons.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.